Right then, you horrible lot. This week on Burntwolf Airsoft, I'm going to talk about the cost of starting Airsoft and what I think is a good order in which to buy your gear. Now, like I said before, you need nothing to start playing Airsoft, and you should rent gear at your first few games to make sure it's a game for you. Once you've decided this is a sport you want to get into, I'm hoping you've already got some decent, comfortable footwear to go on with for now. If not, more on that later. The first thing you should get yourself after playing a few games is a set of mesh goggles and a lower face mask. The cost of this setup more than outweighs the few cons that come with them, and I know many a seasoned player that still uses this mesh combo years after starting. At around £15 for the goggles and £10 for the lower mask, you can't go far wrong, and now you can say goodbye to all those smelly rental masks. Next up on the to-get list for you is some basic combat clothing. Saves ruining all of your nice clothes when you're rolling around in the mud at Airsoft. Get yourself down to the local Army and Navy surplus store, resist buying the Navy stuff if you can, and get yourself some combat trousers and a jacket. A simple setup like this will set you back between £30 and £50 for both, and should last you for years. Always remember to try the stuff on before buying, raise and lower your arms, do a few squats, etc. Make sure everything fits properly. If in doubt, get the next size up. No use being uncomfortable. This isn't a fashion show, it's simulated war. Although sometimes I do wonder. If you haven't already got a decent pair of boots, you might as well pick up a pair whilst you're down there. Boots can be as cheap as £15 for an old pair of assault boots, or as much as £100 for the new Gucci all-singing, all-dancing ones. I'd recommend spending around the £20 to £30 mark and getting something like an old pair of para boots, or softer desert boots like Mendel's. Always try on ex-army boots, wearing some thick socks, and thoroughly look them over. You don't know where they've been, and I doubt the shop owner does either. If you're having trouble with blisters for the first few games, try powdering your feet or wearing thin socks under thick ones. The process of breaking in boots can be speeded up by soaking them in warm water whilst they're laced up on your feet, and then walking in them until they're completely dry. Time to sit in the garden having the weirdest looking foot spa of your life. So now all the clothes shopping's out of the way, what next? Well, if you're over 18 and haven't played free games and got you your car yet, nothing for now. Wait until you've got that instead of buying a two-tone. When it comes to buying your first airsoft gun, I would advise spending around the £150 to £200 mark and trying not to spend much more straight off. Whatever style you think you like now may not be how you would like to take things in a few months, so it pays to play a few more games before going on to the expensive stuff. I've mentioned before the perils of starting off sniping straight away, so I won't cover that again. Pick something that feels comfortable to hold. It's hard to explain, but the way I see it, everyone's built differently, and different guns will have different fits, and suit some people better than others, which is why it pays to handle a riff before buying one. Also, pick something that has semi-automatic, as a lot of sites don't allow fully automatic indoors, and you'll find yourself unable to use it. As with anything, go online, check a few reviews, and speak to players down at the site. They'll have a much better idea of the pitfalls of a lot of guns that are going around at the moment. I would also advise whatever gun you get, to get a spare mag to go with it. I've had very few problems with my airsoft guns so far, but I've broken more than my fair share of mags in my time, and it pays to have a spare ready for when the time comes, rather than relying on scrounging off other players. And at this point, I'd say you're all set up for Airsoft. Eye pro, face mask, clothing, boots and gun, covering all the basics and coming in at around the £240 to £320 mark. And that's all you really need to start playing with your own gear. For those of you who want to take things a little further, a few other things I recommend to get is some gloves and a scrim, as both areas are rather stingy to get hit in. Also, I'd recommend getting something like a BB pouch to carry extra ammo into battle. All of that should set you back no more than £50 at most. For beginners wanting pouches in their loadouts, old army webbing and tack vests can be bought for around the £30 mark. If your budget allows, maybe at this point start thinking about getting some higher end iPro, or perhaps even a backup sidearm. And that pretty much covers it. Hopefully this video gives you a rough idea of what a starting loadout for Airsoft will cost. As always, thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more Airsoft content. Anyway, back to what you were doing. That is